There, this is Kenny over at learnhowtogrowsprouts.com, and today I'm going to talk about some sprout recipes. And these are flat out some of the most tasty things you've ever tried. If you haven't tasted what it's like to eat live food, then you've got to try this out. If you want to learn more about sprouting and the basics of sprouting, and if you'd like to download my free e-course, you can go over to learnhowtogrowsprouts.com and learn more about it. You know, the first recipe I want to talk about today is sprout bread, and it's made with red hard wheat, and you can sprout it. It takes just a few days to do it, to sprout the wheat, and then what you do is you take those sprouts, those wheat sprouts, grind them up into a paste, and then bake them, and that's pretty much what it requires to build to make sprout bread, and that's it. There are no other ingredients. The cool thing about wheat is it has maltose, or its own form of sugar, and it's not like processed white sugar or some of these corn syrup, fructose, and things like that that kill you. No, this is the nature's natural maltose and sugar. So to create sprout bread, and again, if you want the details for how to actually make the sprouts, you can go over to learnhowtogrowsprouts.com, and you can learn more about that in detail. But there are 4 easy steps to sprout bread. You grow your sprouts, you grind them into a paste, you form a 2 to 3 inch round loaf and bake it in the oven at 250 degrees for about 3 hours. That's it. Is that the coolest thing? It doesn't require any other ingredients than that. And here's what you get back. A loaf. It's denser, and I'll tell you one thing here is that you eat one piece of this, it's going to stick with you for the better part of the day. And that's the wonder of it. And you can include other types of sprouts in sprout bread and get something really tasty out of it. So I do include the steps here. It's really this simple. You sprout the wheat, you grind it into dough, you make the loaves, you bake your bread, you determine when the bread is done, and then you store your sprout bread. And the thing about sprout bread is you do want to put it, you can freeze it and it'll last, for a long time if you make several loaves. Otherwise, you can just keep it in a bag like you would normal bread, and then just eat it as you're ready. Now, to create something a little bit sweeter, you can create raisin sprout bread, and it's really just the same recipe I just gave you. You just add raisins once you have the paste. And this is what it looks like when you're done. It's really tasty. And by the way, I have some videos and a video course over at learnhowtogrowsprouts.com where I go into detail about how to do this step by step. And I'll show you what it looks like at each step, so it's really pretty handy. But this kind of gives you a good overview. Well, all you have to do to create the raisin sprout bread is you sprout the wheat, you grind the sprouts into the dough, you make the loaves, you bake your bread, and then well, what you want to do is put the raisins in the dough at the dough stage, and then you're set to go. Now this is something really unique, sprout cookies, and again, it pretty much takes the same process. You take a couple of cups of soft wheat berries, or the hard red wheat, 1 cup of raisins, 1 cup of coconut shredded, and then 2 teaspoons, of vanilla extract, and that'll make 25 to 35 cookies. So you can see what they look like there. The process for making these is the same as making bread. You get it to once you've sprouted the sprouts, then you grind them. And in my course, there is a little bit of a trick to how you want to grind it. You don't want to just you can't use a blender. You can use a food processor or a juicer. And again, I can show you how to do that in my course over at learnhowtogrowsprouts.com. But in essence, what you'd want to do is once you've got it, you send it through the sprouts through the food processor or through the meat grinder. You can even use a meat grinder, and it's in a paste type form. Then that's when you can mix in the raisins, the coconut, and the vanilla extract. Just mix it real well. Then you just put it on a cookie sheet, and you want to cook it at 250 degrees for about 2.5 to 3 hours. Now the reason that you cook it slower is that you don't want to impact the nutrients of the live food, which is in the sprouts, and it gives it a much denser, richer flavor if you don't rush the thing and try to cook it too fast. Okay. Here's another cool thing that you can do with sprouts a lot of people don't realize. It's called cashew yogurt. And it's a pretty simple process. You just take 1 cup of raw cashews, and these can't be salted or roasted. They're raw cashews. Pour those into 1 cup of pure water, and you grind those up. And then there's a fermentation process that's a little bit tricky. And again, in my course, I'll talk through this in a little bit more detail. But what you want to do is put that in a place that has a pretty constant temperature, about 70 degrees. Some people, if they have a gas oven, you can actually put it just in the oven above your pilot light. You never actually turn on the oven. It just heats in there at a consistent 70 degrees. A little bit more in it, and you don't want to go too much higher because you don't want this to ferment too fast. But it turns into an actual yogurt, and then you can mix it with different things. And this is what it looks like. It looks just like yogurt, but it's non-dairy, and it's really tasty, and it's probably not like anything you've ever tried before. And so this kind of gives you the details. And if you'd like, you can go over to learnhowtogrowsprouts.com and download this in my ebook, and it will give you. And again, that's a free ebook. Now, I do have a paid step-by-step video course where I walk you through these things, but not necessary to get started, and you can start doing these things right away. And then finally, I was just going to show this quinoa salad, and again, this is pretty much using a variety of sprouted seeds: alfalfa, buckwheat, cabbage, and Greek sprouts, and 1 cup of quinoa. And these are pre-cooked, a generous tofu tahini dressing. And again, it's pretty much the way that you do this is that you sprout each one of these individually and cook the 1 cup of quinoa, and then you just mix it all together, and this is what it looks like when you're done. It's really flavorful, and I'll tell you, this sticks to your ribs, and yet it's completely healthy and devoid of so many of the other processed foods and colorings and things that can really be a danger to you. So this video went a little bit longer, but hopefully you found it useful. I got some of these recipes from Steve Merowitz's book, The Sproutman's Kitchen Garden Cookbook, which I highly recommend. It's available over on Amazon. I have a link to that in my book, my free downloadable ebook and course, and so I really want to point you to it. It gives you a lot of good ideas. So what I'd want to, if you like to download the free e-course, you can go over to learnhowtogrowsprouts.com and pick it up there. But for now, I'm signing off, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.